Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining, and today I'm gonna go through a couple more tips continuing from last week's tutorial. And today I'm gonna separate it into these 3 points: planning the photo shoots, during the photo shoots, especially on the camera angles this time, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about after the photo shoot, what I store and then how I edit. And first of all, so the planning the photo shoots, you can have mood boards for inspiration. Before the photo shoot, you can send the model some boards just to communicate your ideas with the model. You can use Instagram, Pinterest, or any screenshots that you found in any magazines, or just take up some photo of the magazines that you found that are interesting, or you want to recreate those shots. You can save it into one album in your phone and then send it to the model. So those are the different ways you can create a mood boards for the inspiration. And then for communication, you can text the model those photos. And if both of you doesn't have clear ideas, you can just communicate with each other to see what's the recent trend, and you can just search some trending hashtag to see what else are trending, and that will give some idea to start with. And then along the way you will find out what's your favorite ideas out of those trending ideas. So that's a quick one. And then for outfit colors, you can ask the model, hey, what kind of colors that you like to shoot in, because not all people like the same color. So you can communicate with the model, and if the model have certain color that in mind, and you should choose the right background. Just like the example in this one, the model want to shoot this outfit from the sponsor, and then the color is dark green and light green, so I have to find a red steer just to match the green color. So kind of like the green matches the red, and you can do the same thing like based on the model's color. Basically the main thing is communication in the first phase. Next, planning for props. Do you need any props to create the mood that you like? For example, this photo in the city. Do you want any like motorcycle for the city? Or if your friend has a motorcycle, you can ask to borrow a motorcycle for the photo shoot. Or any other like basket, suitcase, you want to create a prop. Or even with flowers, also just plan ahead. If you want to have some flower, you can go to the farmer's market to buy some flowers beforehand, just to create some foreground with the flower as well. So just keep in mind the prop as well if you need it. The next one is the location, and I want to see if the location matching the vibes that you want to get in the mood board. For example, if the mood board is more about travel, you should plan the location to a more known location, such as this one, like Golden Gate Bridge is more travel photography portrait. And then you can find some interesting travel hotspot in your area, and then planning into the map. Then you can share the location with your model just to discuss couple location to see which one you both agree on. So it's communication also. So make sure that you communicate with your model and both of you are in the same page. So next one, I'm a little bit before the photo shoot. During the photo shoot, like the pre-shoot, just don't rush immediately if you and your model are the first time collaborating. And because both of you are the first time collaborating, you didn't know, like you haven't known each other that much. So what I'm suggesting is to introduce yourself and then talk to the model for a little bit before just shooting the camera right away, because it might create attention, very intense. If you just point in the camera just to shoot, just to start shooting, unless the model has a lot of experience already and the model are very comfortable right away, then you can do the immediate shoot. But just my opinion, you should just if both of you haven't seen each other before, haven't met each other before, the first thing just to introduce yourself and then talk a little bit about each of you, and then just to communicate a little bit more before shooting. That's what I mean. And then create a more natural looking portrait, because after you get to know each other a little bit more, yeah, both of you are very more relaxed in the mood. The mood are more relaxed, and then you can create a more natural portraits. And this one, you can just ask the model. The other tips is you can ask the model to do some motion just to relax for pose. You don't have to be a fixed pose. You can ask the model just like walk in, and then you don't have to worry about the camera. You can just let them know you don't have to worry about the camera, and then just ask them to walk naturally, and then just like that. So that's one of my quick tips before we get into the angles. So this tutorial, I want to focus a little bit on the angles. Lots of people asking about the angles last time. So I'm gonna create this main tutorial on this. So the low angle is when the camera is in the low angle and then pointing up. And in this situation, I put some situation here. Couple of situation is one is high-rise building in the background. So in those cases, you can do the low angle. A big church or very beautiful church style, you can just do the low angle. And city tower, like some city has a nice, very tall tower that immediately recognize is which city, just like Seattle, or in San Francisco has a nice like Trans-America tower. And then stairs, the stairs just like this one, the stairs are more like leading lines, so it's good to like lower the angle to lead the line to the model. And then the lens that I recommend like 24 mm or 35 mm equivalent, which means is like 16 mm for Fujifilm, and then 23 mm f1.4 for the Fuji X. Another one is the medium angle. Medium angle I categorize into like headshots, half body portraits, and then for 85 mm portrait full body, you can do that also, just like in this portrait right here. And especially it's in the sunset, the medium angle, which means it's like from your chest to your head. The camera is positioned from your chest to your head. In that case, it's more like in the same plane view as the model's head. So it's more like you straight looking parallelly into each other. So full body using 85 mm portrait lens, I think it will be good. And then for this case, the sunset is right near the head area because the sun angle is very low. It was within a half hour of the sunset. So it's good to use this angle because the sun will light up the hair to highlight the edges of the hair. And so that's my quick tips on that. And in terms of the lens, I will say 35 mm, 50 mm, 85 mm. Those can be doing the medium portrait. It's more like all the purpose of this lens. They can do the medium angle, but I just categorize more focus on the 85 because it blur out the sunlight for the sunset. And this one also is in the same plane angle. And this the camera is around the chest area, and then we did the shoot with the leading lines from the left to right in the pier. And the full body, so this is the 85 mm f1.2L Canon in the EOS R camera. So this is another example of the medium angle. And this one is the Fujifilm X-T450 EMM f1.0. So you can see that it's around the same style, but in this case, around the same 85 mm is actually 75 mm portrait equivalent. And what I mean in this medium, using the medium is angle, is that you can see that the bokeh in the back, like near the body. So in that case, you can see the tree is near the head. It depends on what are the background around the head area. So it depends. Different tree has different background, and also this can be dynamic. It doesn't have to be medium. It can be low angle. Sometimes it depends on the situation. But in this case, you can see that the head area is near the brown area. It creates a nice contrast near the black here. So that's it depends on the background also. So, and this one using the 23mm f1.4, using the medium angle, I put position. Medium angle can position the back, the 4 leaves near the head area. So the takeaway is that based on what you want near the head area, you can tilt the angle. So for medium angle, you can get the tree halfway down, and then it depends on what kind of interesting area that you want to surround the portrait. Okay, another one is high angle. So this one is about like 20% higher than the parallel, a little bit higher. I want to say this category first, half body and headshot. So you can see that most of the time, if I'm position the camera very high, like I hold up the camera very high, is to shoot the half body portrait, because if you shoot full body portrait, it's not good because the leg will look much shorter on the model. So that's why shooting half body is good for the high angle. And the reason for this photo I want the high angle is that you can see the leaves is pointing up, right? So if I point down the camera, if you have the texture of the leaves are in focus. So it depends on the environment also. So it's pretty dynamic. And also the next one, if you want to use the ground as the background, so the ground color is a light gray color, like the concrete color. Or sometimes if you have some leaves, in this case he has some 4 leaves in the ground that you want to blur out a little bit, just to create a contrast around the body of the black dress. So that in that case you should use a high angle. So different cases different, so it depends on the ground and depends on the lines on the ground as well. And if you have leading line that left and right coming into the portrait, in that case you should use high angle as well. So slightly holding up the camera and then pointing down, shooting down. And then and some of the cases you can just ask the model just slightly sideways tilt it down the nose a little bit. It creates a nice side profile sometimes as well. Also this one I raise up the angle a little bit, maybe just 10 degree, just shooting down a little bit. The retro car, so if you have a nice retro car for the props, you can just use in the high angle, and then just to get a context of the retro car as well. And this one, it can be any focal prime lens, like 35, 50, 85, and most of the cases, if you want context, you should use 35mm equivalent. But if you want close-up headshot, 50 or 85 should be good for this case. Okay, and then those are the during the photo shoot with the angles. And after the photo shoots, I will put into a cloud-based storage. In this case, it's the Dropbox, and I separated them into a different folders. In this case, I name it like in the date so that I can search with the model's name. And then I use the folder Canon R6 and the X-T4 as the subfolder, and then I have an edited folder for the shoot as well, and so that I don't have to send the text with the picture, because sometimes if you add up the storage in the phone, so I can just put everything into the edited folder. So this is how I do it in the Dropbox. For editing, I'm using this many software to edit, just different options. So i9 film, I think it's only available in the iPhone right now. But for those of you using Android, you can download the VSCO. I have been editing VSCO for a long time. You can just search my name and then VSCO for all the other videos. For Facetune, one-time pay version, I paid it like $60 or something for in 2017. I think right now the plan is different. You should just search the Facetune. But for Lightroom, right now for Lightroom, I'm editing Canon file, if a raw file for Canon. But I want to show a little bit of this export setting. A lot of you asked the export setting. Basically, I didn't do much. I just do the quality, just drag it to 100. But for the INI and the VSCO, I didn't have an option to change the ratio. So a lot of people ask, what's the ratio to get the sharp image? I just do the export, because if you export to the right side on these two app already. And the last one is the Capture One. I think Capture One renders better with the Fujifilm, and I think Sony and Nikon also. So, and because these three are Sony sensors, I think that's why the Capture One handles better. So right now, if I'm shooting raw file for these three brands, I will open in Capture One. And previously, I opened the Sony and Nikon in Lightroom as well. So it doesn't have a lot of problem, but the initial load, the color, it seems better. So that's just my opinion right there. So different people has different preference of the color. And I think that's it. This is my quick walkthrough of the photo shoot with the concentration of the angles of the cameras. Hopefully it will help you a little bit, and I will have more video coming up. Thanks so much for joining. Stay tuned for more video coming up. Bye.